Hey, welcome to another episode of The Rob Report. I'm your host, Robert Bob TV Brown. Before we get into the segment, by the end of this video, I want you to do a few things for me. First of all, if you like the video, hit the like button. Please do. If you don't like it, hit unlike. It's okay. Make sure you are subscribed to this channel. Sometimes, as Jimmy Dole would say, you find yourself unsubscribed and you need to make sure that you subscribe to this channel. Hit the notification bell right next to it so you can be notified when a new video is being dropped. Whoop, there it is. And more importantly, the super chat will be on for this segment. So if you want to donate toward the efforts of Bob TV, that's freely up to you. Any amount will help toward the growth of this channel. My name is Robert Brown with The Rob Report. Let's get into it. Well, good day, good day. Welcome to another episode of Rob Report. I'm your humble host, Robert Bob TV Brown. How you doing today? Today we're going to talk about military over the people. Taking our money to finance everybody but us. Taking our money to finance everybody and everything but us. Here we are, we putting all these politicians into office. We go out there and bust our butt getting them in. Yeah. That's our guy, that's our girl. Democrats. Republicans. And then we get to a position where you get them in office. It's our taxpayers that's paying their rent over on Capitol Hill because they do have apartments that they're staying in. Most of them do have homes, but some have apartments. And then you got those who, They get a paycheck from us. They get a paycheck from life from us. I mean, once you win, you win. You're good. You get a paycheck for life. You get to go anywhere you want to eat. You will never have to worry about hunger because somebody give you free food just to take a picture with you so they can put it in their restaurant. You're good. You can always go to Capitol Hill. I don't care if you retired 30 years ago. You can you can walk over in your rollator. You can stroll on in your wheelchair. And you can go on to the dining hall on the Capitol and get something to eat for free. Soup of the day at the White House. Got carte blanche everywhere you go, but when it comes to you don't have carte blanche. Here we got the Congress, the House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, master negotiator herself. Yeah, right. Decides to push Trump's budget. Let me see, can I pull this article up from The Hill? Washington braces for clash over defense budget. This was a few days ago. A clash over $740 billion defense budget is poised to erupt in 2021 with Democrats set to battle among themselves over whether to reduce the funding. But President-elect Joe Biden and other prominent Democrats have said they do not anticipate big cuts in the coming year. But progressives are pushing to slash funding, seeing an opportunity to achieve a long-sought goal with the party to control the White House and the House next year. Injecting some uncertainty into the looming debate is control of the Senate, which hinges on two runoffs in Georgia on January 5th. Republicans need to win at least one to maintain control to the upper chamber. If Republicans keep control of the Senate, and we'll see how the Georgia runoff go, then fundamentally what that means is that to get in a significant piece of legislation through, including a change of defense budget, you're going to have at least some bipartisan support, said Todd Harrison, a defense budget expert at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. So that I think is going to moderate any urge to change the defense budget by any significant amount. The annual defense budget grew about $140 billion under President Trump. It grew. It didn't cut. Donald Trump said he was going to do all this crap and he's going to take that money and put it into things like Medicare for all, education, tried to sound like Bernie Sanders. Lie. It includes funding for the Pentagon and other defense programs such as the Energy Department of Nuclear Weapons Program. Why are we funding a Energy Department nuclear weapons program? Why? a nuclear weapons program. We're going to get on Kim Jong-un, and we're going to get on Trump from having a relationship with Kim Jong-un. And we over here building, and I don't like, whatever it takes to keep peace. I don't care. That's them. They can do their thing. Ain't got nothing to do with me. Ain't really got nothing to do with you. Keep the peace. I understand why they want to have nuclear weapons, because we tell people to get rid of their weapons. And not only do we build our own weapons, we go and kill them who built their own weapons. Saddam Hussein, Gaddafi. Tell, give up your weapons and we'll be your friends by killing you. After years of growth, the Pentagon has projected a relatively flat budget through 2025, with fundings averaging about $707 billion per year in 2021 dollars. According to the September analyst for Congressional Budget Office, House Armed Service Committee Chairman Adam Smith, Democrat from Washington, who favors a flat budget but has left open the possibilities of supporting cuts, predicting leading up to the November election that Democrats would fight over the issue if Biden won or Democrats took control of the Senate. There will be a fight, no questions, Smith said. Well, ain't going to be no fight if you don't win those Georgia runoffs, Democrats, and it is highly unlikely you're going to win them. If you win them, great. But a lot of people don't see the importance of power positions in politics because a lot of people are not into politics like that. But let me keep going. Biden has not proposed major cuts. Biden has not proposed major cuts. Biden has not proposed major cuts to the defense budget, but has stressed the need to better prioritize funding in emerging areas such as space. Y'all jumped on Trump about space program, cyber, artificial intelligence, saying the U.S. needs fiscal discipline on military spending and smarter investments. With the return to great power competition poised by the rise of China and revanchist Russia, we need to maintain our superiority, but we must do so affordably. There go Joe being a Republican again, and by preparing for wars for tomorrow. There's go Joe being a Republican again. We need to watch our budget. That's why he got that skank. Yeah, I said it, skank near Tanda, to run his budget office department. Biden wrote in September questionnaire for the Military Officers Association of America. Biden has also indicated his administration will fundamentally expand the definition of national security, saying his national security advisor pick, Jack Sullivan, we're going to talk about him soon, understands my vision that economic security is national security. Well, bruh, if economic security was a national security, we wouldn't still be running on Obamacare. But that's another story. Yeah, Obama talking about, well, I created Obamacare. That was doing something for black people. I got black people on insurance. Look, I got black people on insurance. Bruh, nobody need to be on insurance. We need to have a universal program, but that's another story. Mackenzie Eagling, a former congressional advisor on defense issue who is now the Conservative American Enterprise Institute, said former President Obama offered a blueprint for such a vision by taking money out of the defense for food stamps, basic research, and other domestic priorities, which he didn't do. It was only a vision. It was all a dream. It's not a new line of thinking, but it does justify lower defense budget, Eagling said. Progressive Democrats have been pushing Joe Biden to slash the defense budget in order to prioritize other areas such as public health amid the coronavirus pandemic. In July, vote in Congress, seen partially as a message to Biden, progressives pushed an amendment to the annual defense policy bill that would have cut the budget by 10%. The amendment was defeated by bipartisan. You get that? By bipartisan, I keep telling you, the Republicans, Democrats will come together to crush any kind of progressive movement. That's why, yes, you may be growing by adding a trickle of more progressives in the Democratic Party, but they are still going to try to crush you. That's why you need to be on the outside, as Jill Stein said, instead of on the inside to get these things done. Both progressives held the number of yes votes more than for similar previous efforts as a sign of momentum. Dozens of progressive groups also signed a letter to Biden during the campaign calling for a $200 billion cut of the defense budget. And in mid-November, November, more than 30 progressive groups sent a memo to Biden transition team calling for a return to Obama-era defense spending levels. Now, actually, they was calling for something more than that. But that is just the spin that you're going to put on it. That's just the spin you're going to put on it. The group suggested Biden eliminate a war fund known as the Overseas Contingency Operation account that has been widely maligned as slush fund, phase out the Next Generation Intercontinental Ballistic Missile, halt the purchase of the new aircraft carrier, abolish the year-old Space Force, or cut spending on missile defense. So Biden planning on coming in and doing, shutting down some of the Trump program. I get it. And other programs that were out there. But the bottom line, the money still going to go to defense budget. It's not going to go outside of defense. Eagleton said the most extreme outcome would be a $40 billion top line cut for defense in 2022. However, she predicted more likely cases is that department buying power will shrink by 2%, citing similar dips from fiscal 2020 and 2021. Now, I can keep going on to this all the way to the end, but I'm not. House passes defense bill overwhelmingly, defying Trump's veto threat. Now, Trump had certain reasons why. There's certain things in the defense bill that Trump don't like, Trump trying to veto it. And certain things that's valid. Come on, Trump. You're a lame duck, bruh. They're going to defy you no matter what. And look, and I don't blame them. Look, House passes compromised defense bill over Trump's veto threats. It's amazing how the House, which is led by Nancy Pelosi, will go all out to try to shut up Trump on a defense bill. Let's read this. The House overwhelmingly passed annual defense policy legislation Tuesday in the face of a veto threat from President Donald Trump. So Donald Trump threatened to veto it, but they put in measures to stop Donald Trump from vetoing. Members easily approved the annual National Defense Authorization Act. The annual National Defense Authorization Act in a blowout. 335 to 78. Boy, if that was basketball or football, good God Almighty. A blowout. I had a lady come on, we were debating yesterday, and she was like, the Republicans giving Trump what they want. The reason the Republicans was giving Trump whatever he wants is because Trump was giving the Republicans whatever they want. They had it good. It's just like the Democrats are giving Obama whatever he wants, because that's what Democrats supposed to do. If Obama give Democrats what they want, the Democrats going to give Obama what. That's what's supposed to happen. And it's not about fear. Members easily approved the annual National Defense Authorization Act in a blowout of 335 to 78 votes. The total far exceed the 2/3 majority needed to overturn Trump, who has threatened to nix the $740 billion bill. Get this, $741 billion. Now, mind you, we started out at $3 trillion in the House for a new stimulus plan. We need a stimulus plan. We're still in a pandemic. These numbnuts are trying to lead us to a freaking the government is trying to lead us into a vaccine when we could have nipped this thing in the bud a long time ago with early treatment. But because the earlier treatment, one of the early treatment was touted by Trump, just one. There's really more than one. There's 3 altogether. He only mentioned one, which was dumb. They wanted to shame that and shame him all for political purposes. And now we have possible vaccines. We need a stimulus plan because people are not 100% back to work. People still having to deal with coronavirus because we're not telling people to treat themselves early. We tell them to stay home and and if things get worse, you go to the hospital and tell them something that could treat them early. We went from $3 trillion to $2.2 trillion down to Trump and Steve Mnuchin offered $1.2 trillion. Nancy Pelosi didn't think that was enough, so she's selling for $908 billion to the people now. Some have gone to corporations, some have come to small business. They talking about a freaking $300-$400 stimulus, $600 stimulus check. Are you freaking kidding me? You're going to give me a $600? How are you going to give me? I need at least $1,200. I really need $2,000 a month till this thing is over with, but I need at least $1,200 for the next 3 months. I mean, they should be rolling these things out every 3 months at least, let alone $2,000 a month. Now, I'm not even going to get on reparations. That's a whole nother thing that you cannot handle, but I'm talking about something they're doing right now. They should at least be giving everybody $2,000 a month to get through this situation, and Medicare for all, just to make sure nobody have to kill themselves financially just to get the help that they need to overcome coronavirus, when the coronavirus can be overcome if you treat them early. There's no cure for it, but if you treat them too early, if they get it, they can get rid of it if you treat them early. But since they're not going to tell you on that, they're going to still continue to push us on the fear of dying and pandemic and all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to do that, if you ain't got the balls and the ovaries to give us $2,000 a month, at least give us $1,200 a month. No, Nancy is selling for pretty much Mitch McConnell's skinny bill plus $8 billion more. But yet she's going to work with the House to fund the National Defense Authorization Act, putting about $741 billion in that plan. Instead of holding it off, taking some of that money, our money, and putting it in the stimulus bill. Trump was threatening to nix the $741 bill because it doesn't include a repeal of legal liability protection for social media companies. In other words, social media companies do not want to take the responsibility of being sued if somebody end up doing something as a result of using social media. Yeah, I get that. That's Trump trying to clap back at social media. Okay, all right, well, that's not my fight, okay? All right, that's a lawsuit, okay? What they need to do is pass something where we can sue social media for hushing us up. Don't get me wrong. I don't think some things should not be said out your mouth. And it has to be some extreme things that's considered in the law. But they shutting people down, social media down, for some of the dumbest things. The bill now heads to the Senate, which is expected to soon vote and send the measures to Trump's desk. It's going to pass in the Senate because it's a military budget, and all these numbnuts got their hands in the pocket of the military industrial complex. Well, they're all in for M.I.C. They down with M.I.C. K-E-Y, M-O-U-S-E. They're down with the military industrial complex. So they're going to sign it into law. Trump can't veto it now, because if they did, they'll be able to override it. Let me finish reading. The bill now heads to the Senate, which is expected to soon vote and send the measures to Trump's desk. Leaders in both parties have been bullish that the bill will get a strong vote. They're bullish. They're being a bully. They're not taking no joke. They're letting Trump know, bro, look, you ain't going to stop this. This is going through. Why you can't be that way about funding the American people? Why you can't be that way about a $2,000 a month UBI? Why you can't be that way about going back to the $600 extra on the unemployment? Why you can't be that way about making sure that nobody has to pay for any kind of health care, coronavirus related or not, during this pandemic? In the days since rolling out their compromise bill last week, leaders of the House and Senate Armed Service Committee have warned that it's their bill this month or bust. Let me say that again. In the days since rolling out their compromising bill last week, leaders of the House and Senate Armed Service Committee have warned that it's their bill this month or bust. What are you talking about? We got people out here in long lines trying to get food. We got people out here about to get kicked out of their homes because they're still not at full time at work. I myself, this is pretty much it. I honestly don't know what's going to happen. House Democrats have said they will cut a holiday recess short and return to Capitol Hill for a veto override. So they're claiming that, look, we're going to go on, fill our families for the holidays. We're going to eat, drink eggnog, and have a jolly good time eating sugar cookies and singing jingle bells. And then we'll come back early to override the vote if Trump decides that he's going to veto it. You know, son, talk is cheap, okay? Whatever. On the House floor, Democrat and Republican armed service members underscored the need to enact the defense bill, which has become law each year for 59 consecutive years. That streak, along with hundreds of bipartisan provision and key pays and benefit measures for troops, hangs in the balance. Now, don't get me wrong. My brother's military. I mean, there's a purpose for militaries to protect the country. It's not to go out and invade countries that don't need to be invaded. And I do believe military should, you're putting your life on the line in any job, you should deserve top dollar, whether it's military, whether it's police department, whether it's security guards, armed or unarmed. You putting your life, any first responders, you putting your life on the line, even nurses, especially dealing with this COVID, should get top dollar. But sometimes you're going too far. It's not about them. It's about how many toys you can buy, how many toys you can build, how many guns, how many bombs, all that kind of crap. And we're not in a current war right now. We got these freaking proxy wars. Trump trying to shut down some of these wars. They won't even let them. The same promise that Obama made is the same promise that Trump made about bringing the troop home in Afghanistan, and the military complex and all their cronies who run Washington, D.C. that's getting money from them, including Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Mitch McConnell, and all those numbnuts. They're trying to stop Trump from doing that. These troops saying, I want to be home for Christmas. I guess Trump's saying, look, I'm trying to get you home for Christmas. You can count on me, but they're not going to do it. Just listen to Nancy Pelosi with her big mouth.
It's only human to see what makes us different can also make us better. At Chevron, we're working together with women and minority-owned businesses, spending $4 billion.
Now, let me read this finish. Let's not walk away from our biggest. Let's let Nancy talk.
Hope not. I hope not. This not. And to veto this legislation, I hope not. I hope not. This bipartisan policy. The president has threatened to veto this legislation. I hope not. I hope not. This bipartisan policy bill has been signed into law for 59 consecutive years. Let us urge the president to show respect for the work of the bicameral, bipartisan Congress and for the sacrifice of our military. I urge a strong bipartisan vote for this legislation, which upholds our values, honors our troops, and keeps the American people safe. And I hope that it will be swiftly signed into law.
Now, look, guys, look. One of the parts of the bill is Trump is trying to protect the name, a base's name after Confederate leaders. Well, whatever. I don't care. If it's a bigot that promoted slavery and promoted keeping slavery intact and all that kind of stuff, strip the name. Don't matter to me. Strip the name. That's not, I mean, that needs to happen with every memorial, every military base, every school. The name need to be stripped off if they had any affiliation with enforcing and trying to keep slavery intact. If you killed blacks during the time of slavery and some black tried to run from you and you shot him down or whatever, your name don't need to be on nothing of glory. Hear Nancy Pelosi saying, we've been doing this for 59 years. We cannot let the president stop this. My whole main point is, right now, it's a different year. Right now, we haven't had a pandemic like this in a long time. Right now, people are dying because you won't teach them how to treat themselves early. You want them to wait till they get a vaccine. And as a result of that, people done bought into that, and they feel they have nothing to go, and then hope is lost, and people are still catching coronavirus. They're still not getting medical treatment early. As a result, they're affecting other people, and it's just spreading. And now you're going back to shutting down this government again, pretty much. And now you got to prepare to take care of the people during the shutdown. If you do it, you got to take care of the people until we get back to normal. And yes, we will get back to normal. There's no new normal. We're going to get back to normal. But you'd rather go to bat for this instead of that. Let's not walk away from our biggest opportunity every year to exercise that legislative oversight. House Armed Service Committee Adam Smith, Democrat, said, this is a good bill. If we don't do this, we're not fulfilling our one key aspect of our duties to our constituents. What's constituents? Your constituents out here in the long line trying to get food. Your constituents is out here still catching COVID trying to get to work. Your constituents are still without a job. And you worrying about money for a military budget? This is not the year to be busting your butt to get money to a military budget. Normally, any other year, when we ain't have to deal with nothing like that, fine. This ain't the time to be doing that crap. Look, don't get me wrong. I used to be in the military. I'm ex-Navy. USS America all day. Aircraft carrier. My brother retired. Most of my friends retired. I'm the dumb one that didn't retire. I got out. Saw too much stuff, ran my mouth, and that was a problem because that's just me. The purpose of the military is to protect this country. Just like the purpose of the police department is serve and protect the community. You work for the community. The military work for the people. All these jobs are people, taxpayers' jobs. Yeah, they want to make the decision on what to do. Like I said before, if you're out there risking your life for us every freaking day, whether you're a soldier, whether you're a police department, whether you're a firefighter, whether you're a nurse out there, you deserve top dollar for your pay. You're out here educating our kids, trying to make them the best that they could ever be in life. They deserve top dollar pay. You're more important, in my book, than CEOs of a company. Because all they care about is their bottom line and keeping money in their pocket. You're actually risking your life or giving more of your life to others. And I believe you deserve top dollar. But this is a different year. Continue to pay our troops. But all this extra money for foolishness? None of that. Yet Nancy Pelosi is getting, and they doing this in bipartisan big numbers, going all out for military budget. But for you, not going all out to make sure you got Medicare for all, not making sure you got enough money to live sustainably and even put money back into the economy by buying food, buying clothes, stuff like that. Maybe having a good Christmas. They don't care about that. Oh, we went from $3 trillion to $2.2 trillion. Trump offered $1.2 trillion. Kiss my behind. It's not enough. You don't have nothing in there for tax credit. Stuff. Wrong time for that crap. Just like this, wrong time to be focusing on a military budget. You fund the troops, fund the bases. But this extra money that you need to create all these flamboyant weapons and stuff like that, no more. Now the studies say that if you just curve off 5-6% in the military budget, you can pass Medicare for all. You can provide no-cost education. Now, I know some of you people out there don't like me talking about that, but I talk about that because education is important. You shouldn't have to pay out of your pocket. I don't care if you do got the money. You shouldn't have to pay out of your pocket for public education. You shouldn't have to pay out of your pocket to go try to live healthy, going to get checked, going to get exams and stuff like that, going to get surgery. You shouldn't have to pay out of your pocket. No other country does that. A lot of African countries don't do that. Jerusalem, Israel don't do that. Matter of fact, we giving them money every month, and they got no-cost education and no-cost health care. Canada's not doing that. Australia's not doing that. Scotland's not doing that. Ireland not doing that. England is not doing that, but we are. The nerves of Nancy Pelosi, again, going bodyguard hard for defense spending in the hundreds of billions, when the American public need those hundreds of billions. Not saying you don't fund them, but you don't go that big, that aggressive in the season. Season done over with, you go back next time, bada boom, bada bang. But right now, you're picking military over the people. And guess what? Yes, military people pay taxes, but guess what? More of the people are paying the tax. More of civilian citizens are funding the federal government versus the military. We are paying the military paycheck. We're paying your paycheck, Nancy Pelosi, and all you numbnuts on Washington, D.C. We're paying your paycheck. Well, you're not taking the check, Donald Trump, but if you was, it would be your paycheck. You're getting $400,000 for the rest of your life. I don't know what you're going to do with it. Maybe go golf, but you're getting a check. These millionaires and these billionaires, as Bernie Sanders used to say, these numbnut politicians on Capitol Hill, these committees on Capitol Hill, when it comes to military and things like that, they are in one accord making sure they get that money. When it comes to their checks and their salaries, they're in one accord getting that money. I guarantee you, none of them have to worry about paying up their rent after this moratorium is over with. None of them have to worry about unemployment check being cut off. None of them have to worry about, I still ain't got no job, because we keep putting them in. We keep giving them a job. None of them are going into a food line with 100 cars in line waiting to get a box of food. None of them. But you are. But you are. Man, let me tell you something. I've been on the phone all day shaming these politicians. AOC, Jamal Bowman, you name it. Here, the federal government. Now, I got my own local government, and we got local races, and I'm looking at different candidates in my area and things like that. But I've been going hard on these U.S. representatives, because they the one have to really push what we really need in America, and to sit there and overwhelmingly push a military budget in the tunes of hundreds of billions when we're in a crisis right now. We're not in a major war. Few proxy wars that we could get out of if we wanted to, but you don't want to, because it's money for you. It's money for your companies and all these contracts that you got. So you're starting these proxy wars. We don't have to be in a proxy war. We can get out of Afghanistan and any other one, because we don't. What are we doing there? What are we doing? Just maintaining space? Have these people want us out of those places? I understand you want to keep the bases. Some of these bases need to be shut down. We got all these bases in Germany. When last time we had any issues with people around Germany? So I can go on and on and on. The bottom line is, this is your tax money. You build it, as they say, the Republicans say, you build it. You worked hard. This is your tax money. It's coming out of your taxes to fund the federal government, to fund Nancy's check, to fund Mitch McConnell's check. You're funding the paycheck of all these people. These people don't have to worry about money. They don't have to worry about food. They don't have to worry about clothing. They don't have to worry about shelter. They don't have to even worry about going to the dentist because it's free. They don't have to worry about going to get a hung toenail. It's free. Everything is free and easy and legit. They get coronavirus, no problem. No problem. They go to the hospital, bada boom, bada bang. You, it's a problem. Folks, I adjure you to call your congressman and shame them. Call AOC, call Ilhan Omar, call all these politicians in your district and shame them. I'm calling Hakeem Jeffries with his butt kissing behind the Nancy Pelosi. I'm calling all of them in New York. Any of you, Chuck Schumer, you name it. Cuck Schumer, whatever you want to call. I'm calling them all. Shame on you. Republican and Democrat and Independent. If you're supporting this bill, if I look down there and see your name ready to rock and roll to push this bill over to the Senate, to the Senate, and the Senate, I'm going after you. Shame on you. Willing to do more, take our money when we're in need to overly fund the military. Right now, the military budget need to be paused until we get out of this coronavirus situation. This is a national security right here. Guys, I'm done. I'm done, son. I don't understand. I really don't understand. I really don't understand how you ignorant, rich sons of guns feel like you know what's best for us in the money that we're pouring into the federal government. We hired you. We put you in office to take care of us. You represent the Bronx. We put you in the office. You need to be making sure the Bronx get everything they need, not the military base in Indonesia. Make sure they got what they need for us: food, clothing, shelter, and a good paycheck, and that they have enough weapons to defend themselves if they need it. But giving them brand new fighter jets and all that kind of stuff when they're good, shame on you. You claim I represent you, I represent you, then start representing. Start representing. You ought to be ashamed taking our money in this season funding anything else but the coronavirus stimulus package. You should be ashamed. Shame on you if you're selling for $300-$400 on top of unemployment or $100. Shame on you. Shame on you if you're going to if you're going to participate in just sending us a $600 stimulus check when you need to be giving us $10,000 every month minimum during this crisis. I'm not talking about what you really need to give people, especially black people. I'm not talking about that. You owe us a whole lot. You owe us. You should be at least giving $2,000 a month. Should be at least making sure nobody has to come out of their pocket to get the treatment that they need for coronavirus. Matter of fact, this coronavirus thing could be shut down. Y'all trying to get people to focus on a freaking vaccine, which I'm not taking. You want to take it, you can go ahead. When people need to be treated early, just like any other freaking sickness and disease. Treat them early and they'll survive. And there are early stuff, but you won't tell them. I gotta tell them and risk getting struck. And you wonder why, number one, I'm an independent. And you wonder why I jump on Republicans and Democrats at the same time. And you wonder why that I stayed on Trump. And you wonder why I'm going to be all on Joe Biden's behind. You wonder why these people are not your friends. These people are not going to bat for you, even though you think they are. The only reason they do what they do because they need to keep that seat. And that's okay. If you want to keep that seat, you need to let them know. If you want to keep that seat, you better dance, jump, buck dance, whatever. You better do whatever you can. Because if you don't take my tax money and take care of my community, then your butt is out. Your butt is out. I adjure you to call your congressman and get in their face. Blow them up on Twitter. This is a shame. It's a shame. Anybody supporting anything else but a robust stimulus package for the American people ought to be shamed.